Here's your First Warn Weather forecast first, sponsored by Anderson Collision Center. Visit driveanderson.com.
Yet another cloudy day today. Temperatures only making their way into the 40s for most of us. We did actually briefly hit the low 50s in Rockford just before noon as we had a small burst of sunshine, but clouded over pretty quickly thereafter, and now clouds continuing to thicken up here into the evening. And that will hold our temperatures relatively steady through the overnight. Not seeing anything as far as precipitation goes just yet, but this is the area that we'll be watching down to our southwest as the area of clouds lifts to our direction, and that will bring us the chance for some spotty showers or maybe some patches of drizzle through the overnight. Temperatures will not fall very far, and they don't warm very quickly for tomorrow. I'll let you know the temperature trends as we head closer to the holiday, and if we see any other precipitation chances on the horizon. Coming up in your most trusted forecast a little later.
Right now at 5, the city of Rockford announces an emergency street closure, the sudden water repair, and plans for Brook Road. Plus a celebration of life for a beloved Rockford musician, the friends and family gathering to honor the life of Dan McMahon. And a state line holiday tradition is on its way back, how the Forest City is gearing up for this year's Festival of Lights.
Live from WTVO 17, this is Eyewitness News at 5.
Good evening, happy Sunday. I'm Rianne Weil. Thanks for joining us tonight. Starting today, the City of Rockford Water Division is making an emergency water repair. This is at the intersection of Brook Road and Windsong Drive. The westbound lane of Brook Road will be closed from Windsong Drive to Trainer Road. Proper traffic controls will be in place, and residents are encouraged to use an alternate route. The driving public is to use extreme caution when near the work zone. City officials expect the work to last between 2 and 4 business days. A celebration of life was held today at the Coronado Theater for the beloved Rockford musician Dan McMahon. Memorials were made to Jim McMahon and used to establish an educational fund for Dan's newborn niece, who he was really excited for but sadly never got to meet. The Rockford Lutheran graduate was well known for being the guitarist in the band Miles Nielsen and the Rusted Hearts. He passed away in September at the age of 41 after battling cancer. Dan's family and friends have expressed their gratitude for the community outreach and love they have received, and were overjoyed with the turnout today.
He needs to be celebrated. The impact that he had on music, the impact he had on everything around this community, everything outside of this community, everything nationally, internationally, musically. Dan should be celebrated, not just today, but for life.
Nielsen expressed his appreciation for sharing over 20 years of music with Dan. Today would have been his 42nd birthday. He is deeply missed. The Holidays and Heroes Shopping Day event was today at Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Blue 815, the Jamie Cox Foundation, Rockford Police Department, and Gigi's Playhouse all partnered together for this event. About 30 police officers participate in the fundraiser with holiday shoppers. Based on the success of this year's fundraising efforts, 40 members from Gigi's Playhouse were able to shop with a hero today with a minimum of $100 each to spend on gifts for their friends and families. One organizer says this event is special because it connects our first responders with the community.
I love to see that familiarity between the officers and some of the members, and then the new relationships that develop, and some of the shoppers that get to come who haven't gotten to do it before, and they're so excited with their lists to shop for their families and friends. And I think just seeing the joy today just really kind of starts off the season the way that it's meant to be.
Cox says the officers all volunteer their time and enjoy spending this time out in the community. And speaking of holiday celebrations, today Rockford Public Schools District 205 were able to visit Auburn High School, where the VanVleet Family Foundation was doing an annual turkey giveaway. The foundation was giving out meal kits on a first-come, first-served basis for families who are in need of a Thanksgiving meal this week. Those in charge say this tradition is heartwarming and special for the community.
We've always helped each other. We've helped family members, and when we had the opportunity to make a bigger impact, that's what we did. That's what we do, and we have done.
More celebrations continue as the Fred VanVleet Thanksgiving basketball tournament will be going on throughout this week at Auburn High School. And looking at the holiday week ahead, tomorrow Rockford's Code and Regulation Committee will meet to discuss a few items. One of the major items moved to this committee is the addition of a downtown West campus for Rock Valley College. This was presented to the public a few months ago and was recently presented to the Zoning Board of Appeals just last week. The Zoning Board approved it, which will send it to the Code and Regulation Committee tomorrow to further discuss it. The campus will prioritize adult learning in fields such as electric vehicle repair, criminal justice, adult education, and more. And later this week, here will be dozens of new sparkling displays lighting up the night for a Rockford holiday tradition. The Festival of Lights marks its 35th anniversary this year. Over 100 displays will be on display for you and your family to drive by starting this Friday. You may have seen it before, but there are plenty of new ones as well. In fact, the co-chair says they have so many displays now that there are no dark spots in the park. He hopes Festival of Lights will become part of your family's tradition.
Them in the car, get them out here, get in line, bring some hot cocoa, turn the music up, get ready to come through Festival of Lights and continue your family tradition. See all the new displays, take it in, and then come back more and keep telling your family and friends about how it's changed, how it's grown, and what it means to you.
And once again, Eyewitness News will be handing out special ornaments to the first 100 people who line up for Festival of Lights on December 5th, the 14th, and the 19th. Join us live those 4 nights at the Eyewitness News light display at Sinisippi Park. It is Thanksgiving week, and lots of Americans are gearing up to go and spend it with their loved ones. When we come back, a look at the weather and the expected traveling numbers for this week.
And a look at that local forecast for those planning to travel for the holiday week, as well as a big cool down on the way following the holiday, coming up in just a few minutes.
You're watching Eyewitness News, your home team, with Rianne Weil, Drew Collins, and meteorologist Jordan Wolf.
Heavy rains and snow in the west and a wintry mix for the Midwest and the East Coast could complicate travel as millions of Americans head to their holiday destinations. For the first time, AAA has included the Tuesday before Thanksgiving in its holiday travel forecast, as an expected 80 million people hit the roads and take to the skies. ABC's Faith Abube reports.
The busy Thanksgiving travel period is upon us, and Americans are on the move. AAA projecting nearly 80 million Americans will travel more than 50 miles for the Thanksgiving holiday. This Tuesday alone, 50,000 flights are expected to take off across the country. TSA expecting to screen more than 18 million passengers through next Monday. American, Delta, and United say this will be their busiest Thanksgiving season ever. United Airlines adding 400 flights per day to handle the demand. But stormy weather from coast to coast could cause some headaches for travelers. Parts of Northern California have been dealing with relentless rain since Tuesday, making for treacherous conditions on the roads.
Any water that's moving across a roadway, it can be deceiving. You may think that it's not very deep, but it actually is because of the way the road is made.
Winter alerts in effect for parts of 6 western states. The Sierra Nevada and Rocky Mountains could see several feet of snow through Wednesday.
It's snowing, and there's a lot of snow. I got some snow on my head.
A storm forecast to form over the Great Lakes on Monday could bring rain and potential travel delays to parts of the Northeast on Tuesday. And another system forming over the Midwest on Wednesday could bring a wintry mix to the Chicago area before strengthening as it travels east for Thanksgiving. But some good news for those driving to their holiday destinations. Gas prices are down. The average price for a gallon of gas last Thanksgiving was $3.26. But this year, it has fallen below $3 a gallon for the first time since 2021. Faith Abube, ABC News, Atlanta.
To politics now, where President-elect Donald Trump has moved quickly to fill positions in his cabinet. His latest pick, Brook Rollins, to lead the Department of Agriculture. Over the weekend, Trump encouraging Florida State Senator Randy Fine to launch a bid to replace Representative Mike Walz, who has been tapped to be Trump's national security advisor. Some of Donald Trump's picks have been met with controversy. His nominee for Attorney General Matt Gaetz dropping out after not having enough support from Republican senators to win confirmation. And now another pick facing scrutiny. Trump's choice for Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth was selected with almost no vetting. And over in the Middle East, Hezbollah today retaliated to Israel's deadly attack in Beirut. Sirens sounded in Tel Aviv amid a storm of about 250 rockets and other projectiles. Hezbollah fired into northern and central Israel. 7 people were wounded, and it's the largest attack Hezbollah has mounted against Israel in weeks and follows yesterday's Israeli strikes in central Beirut that killed at least 29 people. The attack comes amid tense negotiations aimed for a ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah. It was yet another cloudy day in the mid-40s for most of us. When we come back, meteorologist Jordan Wolf is in to tell us when some rain could move in during this holiday week.
Now, Your first warned weather forecast from meteorologist Jordan Wolf.
Still a little bit of sunshine trying to peek through the otherwise extensive cloud cover there off in the distance. Not nearly as much now as what had shown just even 15-20 minutes ago before the sun had continued to set. But nonetheless, cloud cover filling right back in on our Mercy Health Skytrack camera overlooking Rochelle. Otherwise, a relatively calm night. But you see a few of those breaks in the clouds trying to show up here locally. Unfortunately, the low-level cloud cover filling right back in here into the evening ahead of our next developing weather system off to our south and to our west. You see the cloud cover really starting to fill in across portions of Iowa, and that will eventually lift to the northeast, bringing us our next chance for some spotty showers through the night tonight and lasting into the early part of tomorrow. Ahead of that, we did get a few brief breaks in those clouds. It brought us to 51 briefly in Rockford. We're now sitting at 46 there, 46 also in Rochelle and DeKalb. 42, the current temperature out in Freeport, 44 out in Monroe. We may see those temperatures drop a few degrees a little bit quicker early on as skies do not quite remain as cloudy. So down to 44 at least briefly, but then those jump right back up and hover pretty close to those mid-40s all the way through the night as that cloud cover remains in place. So overnight lows likely touching only the mid-40s or low 40s in a few locations. Tomorrow, we do not warm all that much at all. We only get to around 46, which is where we're at right now. And unfortunately, that's actually the warmest temperature that we have for about a week or so, as we are going to be much cooler for the rest of the week. Temperatures will be dropping all the way through the afternoon and evening tomorrow. A little bit breezy as well. Winds out of the northwest, gusting close to 30 miles per hour at times as our next cooler air mass starts to move in following the passage of this weather system. So going to Futurecast now, this is an idea of how things may play out here into the evening. You see those really spotty showers trying to develop across central Illinois, those continuing to lift through the area, the majority of which staying either south of us or to the east of us, but nonetheless, throughout that entire time, late tonight going into the early part of tomorrow, we could see some spotty showers as well as some patches of drizzle just with how much moisture there is lingering around the area and that weak surface low pressure system passing directly overhead. As it pulls out of the region, you see this clearing start to come in back behind it, especially for Monday evening, Monday night. And that lasts into Tuesday, so we may actually have our first real chance of some widespread sunshine for Tuesday afternoon. Unfortunately, with the cooler air pulling in behind that system, that sunshine will not help us in the temperature department. Looking ahead to next week, we have a couple different weather features that we're keeping an eye on as they may impact our weather for that holiday travel for the middle of the week. The first of which just off the coast of California and Oregon, the next of which off across portions of western Canada. Those will eventually work their way downstream and may bring us our next weather system for the middle of the week. Now, how much those interact to one another will actually determine how strong this weather system could be. And they have been featuring a little bit less interaction, therefore a weaker system and not nearly as much of a snow potential here as they had been showing in days prior. Nonetheless, we could see some of that cooler air wrapping in and bring us a couple snow showers late Tuesday going into Wednesday, also mixed in with some rain. That system does strengthen by the time that it gets past us to the east, but cooler air wrapping in on the back of that will start to bring us our next real shot at some Arctic air mass moving in. And with that Arctic air mass, we could see some daily snow showers, although accumulations likely light. 46 for tomorrow, and note that is the warmest day on the 7-day forecast because we're down to 38 for Tuesday, 30s all the way through Thursday, and then high temperatures down in the 20s for the weekend. Overnight low temperatures even touching the teens for a few nights.
All right, thanks, Jordan. Well, Drew's in next with sports. He'll recap the overtime thriller in Chicago against the Vikings.
Now sports with Drew Collins.
Special teams make special plays, but in the Bears' case, it hasn't been very special. More of the same from the Bears this week as they hosted the Vikings. But Caleb Williams played some of his best football to date, and he took this one to overtime. So buckle your seatbelts. Let's check out how the NFC North battle went down. We jump to the fourth quarter with 30 seconds left. Bears trail 27-16. Caleb breaks out of the hitman sack, rolls to his right, and lobs it to Keenan Allen, who's wide open. After converting the two-point conversion, they have to kick an onside kick to stay in it. Less than a 10% chance to grab this one, and the ball bounces off a Vikings player's legs, and the Bears fall on it. Somebody called Pat McAfee the Bears special teams making plays, and this time for the right reasons. So now less than 20 seconds left in the game. No timeouts. Caleb Williams sets the throw. He throws a bullet to DJ Moore. And guess what? They have time to spike it with some spare change left on the clock. So here it is. A blocked game winner last week and another one blocked earlier in this game for the tie. It's up and it's good. So we head to overtime in Chicago. The Bears offense couldn't get going in overtime, so they give it to the Vikings. And this pass here to TJ Hawkinson would set them up for their own field goal. Soldier Field was getting quiet. Parker Romo, the Vikings backup kicker, secures the win with this kick. And wow, what a game this one was. The Vikings hang on in overtime, 30-27.
Obviously a very disappointing loss, but also I told the guys how proud I was of all of those guys of staying together, the grit, determination that they had to be able to make that an overtime game.
We fought all the way to the end, and that's definitely encouraging. You don't want to be around people that are quitting, that are giving up. That's not the type of guys we have. And it's tough. It's a tough loss, just because you get the ball in overtime and you don't go and seal the deal.
Let's check out the Lions in Indianapolis against the Colts. The Lions get started doing what they do better than anyone else in the league. Hard-nosed, physical running. Jahmyr Gibbs gets them inside the red zone. And now Gibbs grabs his rewards, cuts this into the end zone, and Lions take a 7-3 lead. We saw Sonic, now let's see Knuckles. The other half of the duo, David Montgomery, gets in and for his time to shine for 6. And let's switch back to Sonic. The duo is the best in the league, and they cruised right past the Colts in Indy. The Lions collect their coins and win. Number 10, 24-6 is the final. Let's check out the Packers game as they host the 49ers. Tucker Kraft got the game started with a Packers touchdown. Since then, they added a field goal and a Josh Jacobs touchdown. But George Kittle would snag a tutty right before halftime. It's now in the third quarter, and that score is 17-7 Packers. So let's take a look at the updated NFC North standings. The Lions continue to be the most dominant team in the NFL. They sit atop the North at 10-1. The Vikings remain in second place at 9-2. They will host the Cardinals next week. With the Packers game still in progress, they sit in third place. They have a comfy lead ahead of the Bears, but they have some ground to make up behind first and second. And what a turn for the worst for the Bears. Today makes it 5 straight losses, and they have the Lions in Detroit next week. That's sports. We'll be right back.
Well, I'll tell you, it was chilly out there, but I don't even think this is the worst of it. It's just going to keep getting colder.
It's already pretty cold from hoodie to coat weather. I don't know how much worse it's going to get.
We skipped over flannel season. That's like my favorite season of the year.
I don't think I wore a single one.
Right into sweatshirt season. Heavy coats soon, and probably even more layers than that on the way.
Hand warmers.
Yeah, by this time next week, we're talking about high temperatures in the 20s, lows
geez.
in the teens. I know, we still got 46 for tomorrow, though, but a big cool down on the way. Our next precipitation chance is moving in overnight tonight with some light rain possible through the early part of Monday, and then possibly another slight chance for some rain mixed in with some snow for the middle of the week, but then a big cool down on the way for the weekend.
Thanks, Jordan. That's our show. Thanks for joining us. Have a good night.